All right, guys, let's play some more Run 8. We're going to continue looking at the new Savannah DLC that just dropped the other day by High Rail Simulations. It looks absolutely amazing. And today is going to be the very first time we run it end to end. So what I have planned for us is running the old school. So we're going back to like 2003, right? Like we always do. You know how Spur is. We're going to run the Q173. That was a Kearney, New Jersey to Jacksonville Intermodal. Pretty hot train. I think all those trains that ran up and down the A line were pretty hot. Yeah, that's going to be the plan. We're going to take it. I already got a train built. And we're going to load this world right here, the HRS V3 all routes session. It says session for all the HRS Southeast routes, A-Line, Waycross, Baldwin, Fitzgerald, and Savannah. So it's going to populate everything. And it's current of 2/6/2025. So it's a new world that they provided with the Savannah DLC. Let's go ahead and launch this. And we can get right at it. We'll get our train loaded in. This is a custom train that I made myself. Kind of based on the real thing, right? Like I like to go to YouTube and look at old videos, do search for the symbol that you're wanting to run or recreate, and go back and look at old symbols, and you should be good to go. So let's see. I want it in the morning. Now, looking at the bullshit at the old schedule from like 2001, 173 busted up in Savannah about 4 or 5 a.m. Little bit like we're going to be running behind schedule today, but that's okay because I want you guys to be able to enjoy the daytime run. We're not going to do an early morning run. Let's go to the Savannah map. Here we go. Let's go up here to what is this place called? Salkehatchie. And we're going to load our train in. Let's find that bad boy. Let's see. It's going to be Q17301. There we go. Found them in. What I'm hoping to do eventually, what I'm trying to work on currently is I'd like to make these custom trains that I'm building available to members as like a little bit of a thank you to you guys that help support the channel and that sort of thing. So I'm trying to come up with a way to make these available to you guys. Maybe somewhere to upload them where you can grab them and enjoy them as well too. So let's get this one started up. We're going to auto everything. Based on a real life video, 2 engines. And about 7,000 feet. And the cool thing about Q173 back in the day, and I don't know if it's still like this or not, it could very well be. I don't even know what the status of this train is current day, but back in the day, it was all single level. They didn't do double stacks on it. They couldn't. There was some kind of clearance restriction to a tunnel or something up north, and they couldn't do double stacks. So it is all single stacks. And even back in the early 2000s, there's still a lot of TOFC traffic, right? It wasn't quite as containerized as it is now. Now it's the opposite, right? Like everything is containers, and you got a little bit of truck trailers. So back then it was opposite. It was a lot of truck trailers and a few containers. So we've got some single levels stuck in here. This is pretty typical for the 173. A lot of UPS stuff on it. Some UMAX, that sort of thing. So this should be a nice train to run. It should be a lot of fun. Let's hop in the cab. We'll get everything set up. Get our windows open. Someone left a comment the other day asking, how do I swap to the conductor side so quickly? All right. If you hit right shift F11, it'll take you right to the conductor side. And then we can open that window up. If you hit right shift F11 again, it kind of cycles you around different positions on the locomotive. So, and if you want to go back to the engineer, then you do left control F11 to get back to the engineer seat. So that's how I do that. Let's go ahead and put her in forward. Let's hit the headlight. Let's release the brakes. It's relatively flat on this route, so that's the good thing about it. There's not much going on as far as grades. It undulates a lot, right? But it's very gentle. I don't think there's anything on this route that's really going to get away from you. If you just, as long as you're on top of things, it's fine. But let's release the handbrakes. And we need to talk to Otto. Okay, we need to talk to Otto because we are doing this with Otto today. So let's get him up and running. Engage Otto. There we go. Now, here's the tricky part. And it took me a minute the other day to figure this out. Because it's not very apparent as far as what you're supposed to do. So over here on the Savannah page, if you look at the top right, it says Nahuna Subdivision, Savannah Subdivision, radio channel is 3232, dispatcher desk is JE, and his channel is 1414. Charleston sub, which is what we're on currently right now, Road channel is 3232, and road channel doesn't really mean a whole lot to us in the scheme of things in game, but the dispatcher desk does. So his channel is 8484, but it doesn't tell you what tone. I couldn't find the tone anywhere on here. The tone is not to be found. So Spur, for great trial and error, just randomly toning numbers up, finally got the desk to answer. So let's go back to the cab. And let's do 8484. There we go. I want to say in real life we did it twice. I could be wrong. Like, it's not something that, you know, a lot of this stuff you just did and you didn't pay a lot of attention to it. But I want to say we hit channel and then did 8484 twice. Maybe I'm in left field, but anyway, to tone up the dispatcher, you need to do DTMF star 4. Number 4 to tone them up here. I don't know where it is, what it is on down the route, but right here it's 4. Okay, so we got them toned up. You should answer back. We got the callback report with the tone. There we go. Answering FA dispatcher, Yemassee, South Carolina. So we're in Yemassee. Request the lights. And we should be good to go. Let's come out of the independent a little bit. Going to start the blast off. There we go. We got limited clear into the siding, so we're going to be meeting someone right out the gate. Come out of the independent. Ease it out of there. TSX Q173's got limited clear. Let's see. This isn't a siding. I think this is actually considered double main, right? Go back and look. Real fast. So I am looking at I think this is a 2005 CSX ETT over on multimodalways.org. If you haven't been over there, go hit it up. 2005 ETT. Yeah. Salkehatchie. Yes, it is double main. And we're going over to number 2. So it'd be CSX Q173's got limited clear. Salkehatchie single main and number 2. 9049 south out. There we go. All right, I think we got everything covered on that. We'll open the throttle a little bit more. It's nice running with these timetables. This is a route that I'm really not, like, I don't know much about it, honestly. Like, but it's cool learning this stuff, right? It's really cool learning this stuff, so make sure that's all okay. Over on the OBS sides, wanting to behave. There you go. All right, so we called our signal. We're about to knock down this DD. And the most important thing to know about this is very important, and you have to pay attention to it, and you really need to look at the timetables, is that just because we have a limited clear into the siding or into the double main there, limited speed is 45 mile an hour, right? It's not a 45 mile an hour turnout, just like in real life. Get over this crossing. Per the timetable, this number 2 main is only good for 40 on freight speed. So we're getting limited clear in, but you can only do 40, and that's very much true to life. I've talked about this a lot on some of the sidings we had on the routes that I worked. We had some medium speed sidings, right? You go in on a medium indication, but the siding was only good for 25. So you got to know your territory and where you're going. So the siding, number 2 main, is good for 40 mile an hour freight, 60 mile an hour Amtrak passenger. Okay, so remember that. Muy importante. There you go. Same got diamond board for it, 60/40 to let you know. And this is a pretty decent stretch of double main. Let's see, it's 2.4, 1.7, so 2, 2, 2, 6, about 6.5 miles, give or take, of double main, so pretty nice. Main line 79 and 60. This is 79 for Amtrak, 60 for freight. It doesn't specify intermodal speeds, but intermodal is implied, and that's going to be 70. So 70 for intermodal and racks, stuff like that, is going to be 70 mile an hour. Tropicana, 70 mile an hour. I think they're 70, right? Maybe, I don't know. Those cars, I thought those cars were good. I thought they specifically had something for them that allowed them to do 70 on CSX. But I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But either way, the main takeaway is the number 2 main is 40 mile an hour. Then you're going to see that. You're going to see some stretches of double main where it's only good for 40. And some stretches of double main are going to be higher than that too. So it just depends on where you're at. So it's like a case by case basis. You have to kind of pay attention to it and figure out where you're at. All right, so we got a meet coming up. We'll go around here looking out. We're 7,000 feet, 2.3 HPT, 3,877 tons. So for a 7,000 foot intermodal, we're honestly, that's a little light. I should have added some more weight to it. I wasn't really paying attention to the weight. So if I upload these, I'll adjust the weights and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a little bit on the light side. It should be more. It should be at least 5,000 tons, if not more than that. Unless it's a reposition, like sometimes we would reposition truck trailers in containers and they would be empty. So then you could have potentially a lighter train, but I don't personally remember ever having any repositions that went south. Usually they went north. Like I said, Florida more of a consumer economy. It just seemed like there's always more stuff going in than there was coming out. So we had empties coming out and loads going in, you know, that sort of thing. All right, let's get her on up to 40. Yeah, I need to add a little weight to her. 2.3, like that, to me, that's like a lot of HPT for a CSX train. You know, they don't like, even back in the day, I don't know how it is now, but back in the day, they're notorious for not running high HPT trains. Usually they ran just enough to get it over the road. And nothing sucked worse than to be on a draggy pig.
Equipment defect detector milestone 440.4. No defect. Total axle 332. End of transmission.
All right, good to go. No defects. We're coming up to Yemassee, South Carolina here, and we got an advanced approach. It looks like we're going to be stopping at the south end of the double main up here. So we'll just kind of go with it a little bit. Hopefully it'll clear up. This other guy will get up here and get in the clear. Yeah, so far she's rolling pretty good though. It's a pretty decent train. Got the old, that's the cool thing about the route, and this is the thing I love about high rail is they do all the old style signals, so gives you a lot of that. You know, we talked about in the last live stream, that flavor, that former railroad flavor that you don't have anymore. This is Amtrak stop. All right, we got advanced approach. So CSX Q173, got advanced approach, Yemassee, number 2 main, 9049 south out. This is going to be a fun route to run. It really just is. Just because of fast main line, straight, no, like very gentle grades. You know, even though it's not completely double main, it's got stretches of like long double main, you know, 3, 4, 5, 7 miles, something like that. So you should be able to get over the road pretty good. It's going to be a good trip from Savannah to Jacksonville. And I want to say they ran these trains as a long pool too. So they ran them from like Florence down to Jacksonville. I'm not sure. The only thing I'm not sure, I got to research some more, is if the 173 worked Savannah Yard, the intermodal ramp in Jax. I'm not sure on that. I don't know what they did back then. Some did, some didn't. I don't know if this is one of them that didn't or did or what. But basically, if they did work Savannah Yard or the intermodal ramp, it was just a block swap, right? Like they'd set a block out, they'd pick a block up, and then they would go. So it's pretty Pretty cut and dry. All right, there's our guy. Heading north, and we do have an approach on the dwarf. So we got a dwarf on the double main here, which is kind of cool. And it shows it as an approach. This technically, like, I gotta, like, we didn't do a lot of stuff with dwarfs on the routes that I worked. It was like dwarfs were mainly either a slow speed signal or a medium. Like, this is like, it's reading like a slow approach, but it's not. It's definitely not. So we're just gonna keep easing down there to it. Might get in some light dynamics. There he is. Yeah, he's blowing for that crossing down there. He should be. It looks like some kind of a coal train. It looks like his bottom's clearing up down there right now. So yeah, it's reading like a slow approach, but it's not a slow approach. I absolutely know that. This Q173 has got approach. What is this place called? South Embassy. Number 2 May, 9049 south out. Man, that coal train's booking it. That is for sure. He is going, and we got limited clear down there. Nice, okay. Let's go ahead and come out of dynamics. Not sure what coal train this is. I think it's the M171, and that should be a Stanton. Yeah, a Stanton coal train. The one just going to Orlando. It could be a misroute. Like, usually what I remember back in the day is they went up either via Spartanburg up the Clinchfield, or they went up the Corbin side to be loaded. Like, they flip-flop back and forth, you know. All right, coal train looks good. Marker's hanging. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Which I'll look through the route. I'm going to try to set it up more for the very early 2000s. Get the routing and stuff like that. Maybe I can do a video on that. Some people ask about, like, how do you set up the routings for your trains as far as auto, so we can do something with that. But yeah, we'll work that out. There were some coal trains that came down the A-line side, like up at Embassy, but I'm not sure what they were. I said a lot of the Florida stuff either it came down to Clinchfield side, and from the Clinchfield side it could either go over to Columbia and come down to S-line into Savannah, or it could go down the Spartanburg sub to Augusta and come into Savannah that way. Like, they would go to Fairfax and then it would come into the S-line. So they had a couple of different ways that they could send them that way. I've seen some pictures back from way back in the day where they sent coal trains all the way over to this place called Lane on the A-line, which is like, I don't know if that's in South Carolina or North Carolina. It's somewhere on up the A-line a little ways. But I think that was kind of a rare move. And then the other way they sent the coal trains, like I said, was the Corbin side, which was Atlanta, you know, Corbin, Etowah, Atlanta, that way. It all depends on where they load out. You know, and the loadouts change. Like, they could potentially change frequently. They're not always like written in stone. The power plants are going for contracts. They're going for the best deal that they can get on their coal, so they could flip-flop who loads out. You know, whoever's got the best production, the best price, whatever, you know, the best supply. All right, we got limited clear. It's gonna be Crest. So CSX Q173, it's got limited clear. Crest, number 2 main, single main, 9049 south out. 40-mile-an-hour siding, though. Don't forget that. We're only good for 40 here. That's it. If you want to run accurately in game, know your territory. It's very important to know your territory. let's count that down. Right shift, multiply sound signed on, well, it depends on your keyboard, honestly, but we'll count it down. Yeah, I wanna do a good save of this route and backdate it. It's so much to do though. It's like, it's a lot of work going through and kind of like straightening all this, you know. I'm not straightening it out. You know, it depends on the time period that you want to make it whatever you want it to be. I think the route's actually based more on the early 2000s as well. Going with high rail, that's generally what they like to do. Yeah, it's going to be a good route. I can tell already. Like, you're going to be able to move. You're going to be able to roll. That's for sure. Makes me want to see some old school Tropicana trains with the orange cars. Like, that's where it's at. I don't really care for the white Tropicana cars. But those orange ones were where it's at. That'd be a lot of fun. The old school Tropicana ops are way different than what they did before they cut it off completely, right? But like back in the day, it wasn't a daily thing. You only ran it like what, 2 or 3 times a week, and the empties didn't come back in a unit train. They came back on the R409 or the Q409. Get that bell. I thought that bell. I can barely hear it. All right, so we should be a 70-mile-an-hour train at this point. Yes, we are. 70. Nice. And let's do... Here we go. CSX Q173 has got a clear Tulipini 9049 south out. So 70-mile-an-hour train. I don't think she's got 70 in her though, guys. I don't think she has it. We'll see. We'll be able to tell a lot. Once we break 50, we'll be... She doesn't look like she's going to have long legs over 50 mile an hour, so... Even at 2.3, and really this train should be lower, like... It could be lower HPT, like it's kind of on the light side. Yeah, she's not good for 70. She can do 70, but she's not good for 70, that's for sure. All right, next siding, next double main is going to be at Talco. It is another 60-40 siding, so if we went in there, we'd have to do 40, right? And remember, I said, watch your sidings. Yeah, her legs get really short over 50. Maybe on a grade we could do it. We could break 60, but I don't think we're going to do 70. So yeah, we got CP Talco coming up next. Starts double main. And the south end is going to be South Ridgeland. North Talco, South Ridgeland. I was looking for our next speed restriction. Unless we go in a, like, unless we take a turnout or something, we should be good. Or we shouldn't have any speed restrictions. There's really not many curves, as straight as an arrow. It's just good running. That canceled out. CSX Q173 has a clear Kuswahatchee. I think that's what someone told me in the chat earlier, and I probably butchered that because I can't remember. I have the memory of a gnat, but Kuswahatchee, I guess. 9049 south out. Yeah, I love the old school signals. You know, we checked it out the other day during the live stream. We're going to see a lot of good old ACL signal bridges too, which is really cool. I'd much rather see the older signals than the new Vaders. The Vaders took over everything. She's still running decent. It's not a bad train. We shouldn't have much of anything going on until we get down to Savannah. Be smooth sailing. So yeah, I was talking about the Tropicana ops earlier, the old school ops. Like I said, they would run the loaded train north 2 or 3 times a week. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't daily. I know that. Lowe's just kind of came back every day on the 409. The 409 was the only train that bypassed Waycross back then. It went Richmond or it's basically Richmond to Tampa on CSX. It was actually longer service than that. Like it came out of somewhere north of the RF&P up there. And so what they would do is they would just tack those empties on there every day. What was unloaded, they throw them on there and send it south. So there'd be a handful on the bottom most days. A little bit of a hill here, 0.28 up. So yeah, it's not completely flat. But yeah, we definitely need some of the orange Tropicana cars. Back in the day, just a little trivia for you guys. Back in the day, in the very, very early days, it was known as the R250. It started as the R250 during the Seaboard days. And I think it ran as a R250 early CSX. Then it was changed to a K, whatever it was, a K650 or whatever. But yeah, it was originally R250. Before that, during the coastline days, it was, and I want to say that train started running like in the early 70s, but on the coastline days, it was just an extra. So it'd be like an extra 5532 north or something like that. CSX Q173 got clear Bear Creek, 9049 south out. So yeah, it's kind of cool how the ops have changed over the years. Tropicana. I just always thought the orange car is one of the prettiest, like, most visually pleasing trains you could see back in the day. There goes that private crossing back there. Looks like that's going to be Talco, North Talco coming up maybe. Or that could be the distant. Yeah, good racetrack, good intermodal racetrack. Don't have any freights going between Jessup and Folkestone, depending on the time period. You do it at the right time period, you had the 409, but other than that, there was nothing else. Everything else went to Waycross. I really kind of think the 409 bypassed Waycross just to get those Tropicana reefers down south. Yeah, it's Talco. CSX Q173 has a clear North Talco single main number 2, 9049 south out. Yeah, it's got that right. So yeah, we're going on number 2 main. This is number 1 to the right. Man, it's just straight as an arrow. Yeah, I need to figure out if this train goes into Savannah Yard or not. That's the biggest thing. We're going to bypass it, but that could be absolutely wrong. I've looked. I looked at the bullsheet schedule, and it has it in Savannah for a little while. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I want to say it had like 45 minutes allotted in Savannah, so they could do a set out and a pickup down there about that, you know, in that time. I got our first signal bridge up here. We intermediate. As I said, these old school ACL signals installed in the early 50s. Gopher Hill. CSX Q173 has got a clear Gopher Hill, number 2 main, 9049 south out. So this route, it has a nice mix. It's got a mix of the original ACL searchlights. It's got some of the R2s that were installed later. You know, the R2s were installed during the coastline days, seaboard days. Sometimes signals had to be replaced or moved or whatever. So either way, you get a nice variety instead of just everything being Vaders everywhere you look. That's why I really, man, I wish they would update the needle sub. Backdate it to the early 2000s and do D251 running on it. Or you know what? I would even go for a DLC that you could download that would just do that. Like a backdate DLC, you know? Just be like, buy this DLC and it'll backdate the route to the early 2000s. It'll have all the correct tracking, the signals and stuff like that. I just think the D251 would be way more interesting to run than the double main CTC. Yeah, that's the thing. D251 was directional running. Had no crossovers. It did, like, it had no CTC crossovers, so you know the dispatcher would basically, when you left out in Needles, he'd give you a blanket track warrant from like Ibis to Daggett, and he just lets you go. I don't even think he had a display like to show him anything. He had nothing to control. Everything was hand thrown. So on the Santa Fe D251, their crossovers were all hand thrown. They're 10-mile-an-hour crossovers, and they were trailing point. So let's say if the dispatcher wanted to cross you from one main to another, he would have to tell you that. He'd have to give you instructions to do that. You'd have to pull high and then back through the crossover, 10-mile-an-hour crossover, and then run the other main. It wouldn't be signaled. So at that point, he'd give you blocks. And I read that the Santa Fe did the trailing point crossovers like that because it's cheaper. They didn't wear out as fast that way versus the facing point. But the crossovers were only meant to be used in like extreme situations, like to get around a derailment or maintenance away or something like that. TSX Q173 has got a clear south Ridgeland, number 2 to single main, 9049 south out. And then the way they would really get trains around each other, like overtakes, is they had those sidings. They have siding at like Ash Hill, Goffs. Each main had its own siding, and those were hand through as well too. The entry in was hand through, the exit in was spring switch. And so the dispatcher would be like, you know, I need you to take the siding at Ash Hill to let whatever train around you. And you would line yourself in and then make the meet and then just come out on the spring switch, which was really cool. It's very different. It's very different than double main CTC. I think like way more interesting that way than so I mean, you know, CTC and adding track and all that stuff, it's all about adding capacity and ease of operation. It's to make it easier, you know. So sometimes easy isn't always good though, as far as entertainment, you know. Especially when you're sitting in the comfort of your home doing this. There wouldn't be any more Vaders. You know, when it's D251, they're all R2s. I think they had a few searchlights. I think there's some OG searchlights at Daggett. I think they had a cantilever signal bridge there, but everything else was R2s. And that's like a large majority of the Transcon back in the day was D251 running. That's the stretch. The double main started on the Transcon not far from me over in Pampa and ran into Amarillo. And that was all D251.
Equipment defect detector milepost 462.0.
Just Santa Fe's preferred way to run. TSX Q173 has got a clear Okey 9049 south out. Got a few crossings here. Alright, so our next double main is going to be Hardyville. It's another 60-40 double main if you get routed onto it. Yeah, number 2 main is going to be 60-40. Main line is going to be 79-60. Number 1 main. I want to say the entire A line, like way back in the day, 50s, 40s, and 50s, maybe even the 60s, was double main the whole way, right? Like, and then later on they came back and took sections out. All right, no defects. Yeah, I want to say it was double main the whole way, and then once passenger, like, railroads got rid of their own passenger service and that really started to decline, and they started taking out, like, segments of double main. Of course, they would reuse it, right? Like, they would take the rail out and use it somewhere else. Yeah, she can kind of do 60, but I'm not going to do 70. All right, so we got North Hardyville, and we got Sand Island, and then they were practically in Savannah at that point. It's only 3 miles to Savannah after Sand Island. This double maze is going to be almost 8 miles. That's a nice stretch of double maze. Like, it's not double track, but they've got good stretches of double main. It seems like, I bet you has some pretty good rolling meets if you time it out right. This Q173 has got a clear fire tower, 9049 south out. Sure, how far is this? 9.4 miles between Ridgeland and Hardyville, so a little bit of a run here. Now, look forward to getting into Savannah proper. It's going to be really interesting down there. There's going to be a lot of signals. Going to be a lot of stuff going on speed-wise. Like I said, look at the timetables. Multimodalways.org. Check them out. You go to archives. I think it's archives and railroad. Then it has a list. What we doing fuel wise? I didn't even look at that. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're fine. Just want to make sure. Love how they label all this stuff. I'm a huge fan of labels. Like, it helps place me in the world. Versus just running through a bunch of stuff that I had no clue what it is, right? I wish this was standard across all the routes. Like, I just don't think you can have too many labels. All right, here's our distant. This Q173 has got a clear Bahama Swamp 9049 south out. It's pretty cool. They got a true OG style, or a true OG ACL style signal right here because it's staggered on the pole. I'll show you what I mean in just a second up here. You see how it's staggered? One head on one side, one on the other side. I think, if I remember correctly, what I read was that the ACL did that to let crews know that that was a permissive signal, but not an absolute. When they staggered them like that at an angle. You see that. Not all of them are like that. Some have been changed over the years and moved around and all that stuff, but yeah, I'm almost certain I read in a book that they did signal head arrangements like that to kind of let the crew know that if the signal was positive or permissive, or if it was restricting, like going into a siding. You notice a lot of the old ACL signals, how they have the two signal heads with their space like really wide apart. Lets you know that the bottom was going to be restricting. Versus like a medium or limited. You notice like all the medium and limited signals are like the heads are close together. If you go like on the fits where they have the restricting sidings or routes like that, they're like way far apart. All right, so this is starting, this is CP Hardyville. The A468 to the 470 mile post. All these miles through here are true miles, so that's where you can measure your speed if you wanted to. I don't know if they're true miles in game, but in real life they are. That's what it shows. The CSX Q173's got a clear North Hardyville. Single main, number 1, 9049 south out. Nice. So far, so good. It's been a good trip. A little timetable here, see if there's anything else. So yeah, we're going to be coming off the Charleston sub shortly when we get into Savannah. Then we'll go on to the Savannah sub east route is what we're going to take. There's the east and the west route through Savannah, so we're going to take the east route. We're going to bypass the pig yard. It may or may not be correct. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Next speed restriction that we have to worry about is the 30 over the Savannah River Bridge. So we go by Sand Island, and a little bit south of there, it's about a mile. It's going to drop to 45, and then it's going to be 30 over the bridge itself, the span, and then it's going to go back up to 45, and then we'll be 70 mile an hour running again. So we definitely need to be thinking about that. Cool signal bridge. I love it. CSX Q173. It's got a clear Highway 17. Number 1 main. 9049 south out. I love the bridges. ACL had some of the best bridges back in the day too. Especially like the setup down in Jessup's really nice. True to life. And hopefully, as they continue up the A-line, up the coast, we'll see a lot more too, which should be really cool. Yeah, we'll see a lot more going up that way. I'd love to see him get up to Washington eventually. Go up to Richmond, then do the RF&P up to Washington. I think that'd be some really good running. Have Lorton, Virginia for the auto train. All right, it's going to be Hardyville proper. Double check, make sure there's nothing I'm missing here. I think we're good, yeah. Got some more coming up. Yeah. CSX Q173 has got a clear Hardyville, number 1 main, 9049 south out. right, another nice bridge. A couple industries here. Foster, Dixiana, and I don't even know how you pronounce this other place. C-A-R-A-U S-C-A-R. Aristar? I don't know. Let's fly up here a little bit. We'll rail fan just for a second.
CSX equipment defect detector milepost 474.6 track 1.
This is our DD. Yeah, she's doing all right. She's no speed demon, but she does okay. That slow and steady wins the race, right? I guess CSX's philosophy, right? They don't like those high horsepower trains. They don't do like the BNSF putting 4 HPT on a train. I think a lot of instances on CSX, you're lucky to get 1 HPT. It's like we're talking at last live stream how incredibly lackluster the CSX stock is. Stock price, I think someone says at $32 right now. Everyone else in the hundreds of dollars. CSX 32. It has never done well. Like it's never done it's never been stellar from day one. Where are we at here? What is this place called? CSX Q173. It's got clear Perrysburg, number 1 main, 9049 south out. This stock's never been like spectacular. I don't understand why. I've never understood that. All right, no defects. Coming up to our 45, and now she wants to run, right? Get a little air. Now she wants to run. That's Interstate 95 coming under here. There's our bridge, nice. CSX Q173's got a clear. What is this place called, actually? Sand Island. CSX Q173's got a clear South Sand Island, number 1 main, 9049 south out. If she'll slow herself down to 30. She may not. I may should have hung on to that a little bit longer. We'll see what she does. It's another 60-40 siding, so remember that. You get limited in, but you can't do 45. You gotta do 40. Let's see if you just slow down just a little bit more. I think we'd be all right. Yeah, we're good. All right, sweet. All right, Savannah River Bridge, drawbridge up here. There's our 45. You got these long approach spans. It's got a big floodplain. Let's clear over the bridge. We got this slow order. And then we're gonna be good for a little bit. And then we got a bunch of slow orders. We got a lot to unpack when we get into Savannah. There we go, doing our 30 now. TSX Q173 has got clear Savannah River 9049 south out. This is Georgia, South Carolina state line, of course. Next CP is going to be Chatham. The start of another double main, but this one is different. You can do 45 in. And both mains are 7960. So it's one of those places where it changes up on you. 7960, both mains, 45 mile an hour turnout. So it's different from the 6040s that we've seen prior to this, okay? This is one of the exceptions. See, we can see Chatham. Looks like that's it right there, yeah. It's basically a single main stretch just big enough for the bridge. All right, so we got Chatham coming up. We're going to go down number 1 main, 70 mile an hour train. Number 2 main, 70 mile an hour train too if we went that way, just minus the turnout, right? 45 through the turnout. 70 mile an hour for us all the way to, man, we could to like basically Amtrak, 79 mile an hour for them all the way up to the station, man. So they just get to zip right in there. No holding back. Yeah, basically ends, Charleston sub ends at Central Junction. End of the Florence division, beginning of Jack's division. Oh damn, I should have counted that slow order off back there. I didn't think. Wasn't thinking. And then we need to look at the Savannah sub on our timetable. Damn, I totally didn't think to look at that. He's going to be out of it shortly. I know we had that in the middle. That shouldn't be back there. That should have been on the head end. I guess it got tucked in there somehow. Oh, I got random reordered. That's what happened. I should have put that in last. All right, we should be out over 30. Just about. This Q173 has got a clear Chatham single main, number 1 main, 9049 south out. There you go. There's our 45. There's our tag reader coming into Savannah. Yeah, we got a little ways to go. It's like about 10 miles of running before we ever even actually get into Savannah. Yeah. 9.6 miles. Like I said, both mains. In real life, 79 or 60. I have to see what the other main is sometime, but so far everything's been spot on as far as what we need. All right, let's go ahead and look at actually, let's come out on our, there you go. So we get 45. Let's look at Savannah. So all the way to where basically Central Junction. Okay, on this one it has a starting at 50 at Central Junction. So on the Savannah subdivision ETT, it actually breaks it down. P, I, and F speeds. Passenger, intermodal, and freight. So Central Junction, it drops to 50 for passenger and intermodal. Freight, it does 40. Then it goes back up to 50 at passenger station, north end passenger station. It's got a 40 at Alabama Junction, so it's 40, 50, 40, 50 for freight. For intermodal, it's just 50. 50 all the way down to the 493.5. 50 for passenger to the 493.5, and then it drops to a 40. And then it's 50. And then it's 30. And then it's 70 for us. So yeah, we got a little bit to figure out up here. We'll get through it. So long story short, first speed restriction, 50 mile an hour, we got to worry about. $50 an hour for us.
Equipment defect detector, milepost 482.5, track 1.
It looks like we got cleared O'Leary. TSX Q173 has clear O'Leary, number 1 main, 9049 south out. Yeah, 50, and then 50 starts at the 490.4, runs to the 493.5. That's where our 40, that's a hard 40 across the board there, so I think that's for a curve. 50 we're not going to be able to see. We won't even be out of the, like, we won't be out of the 40 until before we even get into the 30 after that, so that 50 is a moot point. All right, outskirts of Savannah. She's running okay. She's a little, I don't know. Like I said, she just doesn't have long legs over 50 mile an hour. It really starts to slow up.
Equipment defect detector, milepost 482.5, track 1, no defect, total axle 332, end of transmission.
All right, no defects. So we got our 50 coming up here, and I'm kind of worried. I want to look. I'm afraid Otto's going to send us up the west route, and I really don't want to do that. I have a feeling, so I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and turn them off, and we'll line ourselves down the east route. There we go. It could very well be wrong. We could go into Savannah Yard. I don't know. I need to research that. All right, we're coming up on a Jimmy DeLoach Parkway. I wonder who Jimmy DeLoach is. It's quite the name. I don't think slowing up for our 50 up here is going to be much of a problem. I'm just curious if the intermodal speed is in game for us, or if it's going to be the freight speed. ASX Q173 has got cleared Cherokee Hill, number 1 Main, 9049 south out. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I got another clear. All right, so 50, and then 3 miles after, 3.5 miles after that, 50 is going to be a 40. And we may as well just be slowing down for the 30, because it's just like a half mile after that is the 30. Let's see, 493.9, may as well make it to 494, and the 30 starts at the 494.5. So yeah, about a half a mile, maybe a little 6/10 basically. What is our milepost right now? .8 is the signal. Yeah, so we got a few miles till our 50. Okay, see, it's got us a reduction of 40, so it's got the freight speed applying to us. Like, technically, in real life, we should be 50. It should be 50 mile an hour through there for us. That's right for freight trains, but or for slot freights, but. ASX Q173 has got a clear Galatia. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Number 1 Main, 9049 south out. I have zero clue. Like G-L-A, yeah, G-A-L-A-T-I-A. Galatia? Galatia? Maybe that's Galatia? I don't know. And of course, now she wants to run good. This is one of the few times she wants to get up to 60. We're going to do 50. We're going to do it via the timetable. It's not going to matter. I mean, I've never agreed with the dispatcher's board showing overspeed. They have no way of knowing that. You know, at least back in the day. They had no way of knowing that, so... I think we had Jimmy DeLoach Highway, and now we got Priscilla D. Thomas. 50's coming up. It says 40, and if you're on a slot freight, that would be correct. Before intermodal, it's different. Like it posts P, I, and F speeds. Oh yeah, she slowed up nice for that. We didn't have to touch the air. Question is, all right, it's 50 to 490.4, and it goes to so 3 miles. Okay, 3.5 miles till our 40 after that. This is where we're going to get into all the signals. That looks like a Christmas tree up here. Man, that's a lot. JSX Q173 has got a clear central junction, number 1 main, 949 south out. There's our 40 starts there. We're going to go off the timetable at 50. That's where Columbia sub comes in. JSX Q173 has got a clear north end passenger station, number 1 main, 9049 south out. If you're running slot freight, it'd be 40, 50, 40, 50. It's just 50 for us the whole way. We do have a 40 coming up, though. That's a hard 40 across the board for everyone, so. All right, Amtrak. Auto Train's the only one that wouldn't stop here. JSX Q173 has got a clear Telefare, number 1 main, I-49 south out. Now, if we were going towards Savannah Yard Pig Ramp, we go this way. We bypassed it, though. Like I said, we'll have to figure that out later. JSX Q173 has got clear Alabama Junction, number 1 main, 9049 south out. All right, our 40 is going to be coming up. I think our 40 is up here this first curve. So we'll just kind of ease around up there. All right, oh man, we just had a sub. That scared the crap out of me. Who is this? Anna. Anna just subbed. Nice. Welcome to the channel, Anna. Yeah, we won't worry about any more speed restrictions till we kind of get through this a little bit. Right now we got 40, 50, 30. The 50 is a moot point because it's only a half mile. But we're never going to see that. We're 7,000 feet. We won't ever get out of the 40 before we're into the 30. I think the 40, I think the actual 40 for the intermodal starts right up here at this curve. That's the 493, and the 40 start at the 493.5. All right, scrapyard over here. A little bit of local work. This Q173 has got a clear Clark. Number 1 main, 9049 south out. Alright, start getting ready for our 30. So we should be coming around to south over. All right, there we go. There's our 40. Yeah, we're slowing up for our 30 up here. All right, so after this 30, we're good for 70 again, both mains. That's it. Yeah, it's 70 mile an hour running the whole way unless we go through a turnout or something. All right, our next star, or the 30 is going to be up here. Got advanced approach. Let's change that. Let's change that up. Let's go. There we go. We're going to meet someone up here, looks like. Come on, we got all kind of stuff. There we go. We meeting 692 up here. All right, here's our 30 up here in this curve. There you go. There's the boards. What is this signal here? Yeah, yeah, I have no clue. This is the North Tower, right? Here's Q173. He's got a clear signal North Tower, 9049 south out, number 1 main. That should, you go off the timetable, that should be North Tower. South end of the yard is going to be DA. It's pretty draggy through these curves here. Yeah, signal back there is going to be North Tower. This is south over. This is the freight yard. And here's going to be where our 70 mile an hour running starts. Count that down. All right, she looking good. That's not too bad. That's not bad at all. Speed restriction wise, it's not that bad. There's a few. So we go down a little further. Next signal, next CP is going to be DA. And then we got Forest River where it goes a single main over the river. And then we got Burroughs where it goes back to double main. And the west route will come in, which is the old SAL, the old S line coming back in. And then double main from there through Ogeechee and then on to the Nahuna sub. We'll go down a little ways. We'll go down to Ludowici. Ludowici is going to be the Waycross route DLC. We'll pick up with it, and then we'll be good to go. That's cool. Waycross has become the center of everything, right? Like you got Waycross, and then you got the A-Line DLC coming off of it, and then you've got the Fitz coming off of it, and you've got the Savannah coming off of it. So it's like it's turning into like the center of everything, which is kind of true life. Like Waycross was where it was at. All right, that's our light at DA. Looks like we got approach limited. It's got 1,000 feet hanging out in that 30, so we can go ahead and start pulling on a little bit. All right, so 45 mile an hour turnout up here. All right, there we go. We're good with that. $70 mile an hour running course now. But we got the 45, so we gotta remember that. All right, so we come up here, we got the S line coming in, and then it splits back off and it goes towards Riceboro. So if you're new to it and you're not familiar with it, there used to be two ways up the coast way back in the day. You had the S line, which was the Seaboard Airline, and you had the ACL, which was the Atlantic Coast Line. Later on, those two railroads merged, formed the Seaboard Coast Line. And a few years after, this during the 80s, like mid to early 80s, maybe early Seaboard System days, they started ripping up a lot of the S-Line. They ripped up a lot of it between Jacksonville and Riceboro up here. S-Line ran on up to Columbia in that way. Then there was some going into Virginia to Petersburg that way. A lot of that was ripped up going into Richmond. It's one of those deals where during the merger, the ACO was a controlling railroad, right? And when you're the controlling railroad in a merger, you know, like I said, to the victor goes the spoils. So a lot of the AC or the SAL stuff got ripped up. They just kind of cherry picked what they wanted out of the SAL, right? What they got. They got the entire system, but they cherry picked what they wanted. They pulled up the rest of it. That's kind of the way it goes, right? Like when you're controlling railroad, you can dictate that. All right, let's need to slow up here for this 45. These Q173 had approach limited DA number 1 Main 9049 south out. Yeah, that's the way it goes. So, and they gave a lot of reasons why the SAL got ripped up. It was the one that's closest to the coast, so they said there's more potential for hurricane damage on the SAL. That sort of thing. Single main. The ACL, you know, the A-line was double main for the most part. So, a lot of reasons. And like I said, the controlling railroad, you know, the controlling entity in the merger can kind of dictate what happens. It's definitely not always equal, you know, as far as how that goes down. So all right, we're good for our 45. Got limited clear up here at Forest River. CSX Q173's got a limited clear Forest River number 1 to single main. 9049 south out. And then we'll diverge again at Burroughs. So we're basically just doing single main over the Ogeechee. I guess this isn't the Ogeechee. This is, do we even have that on? There we go. Yeah, it's Forest. It's actual Forest River. Ogeechee's up here somewhere, though. I know it is. Big floodplain. All right, we can count that off, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. We're going to start looking at the Nahunta side now. So we did Charleston, Savannah, and now we're on Nahunta coming up in a bit. We go through Burroughs up here. We diverge back on the number 1 main. We go through Ogeechee. South Ogeechee, it comes back to single main. Goes through Lodge, McIntosh, and then Ludowici. That'll be it. That'll be it, guys. Our double main all the way to South Ogeechee's 79, 70, and 60, both mains. Minus the turnouts. You gotta take the turnout at whatever prescribed speed you have, but after that you can do 79, 70, or 60. You gotta approach medium, really. So Burroughs is going to be a medium speed signal, really. Okay. I was thinking it's going to be limited, but I mean that's kind of true to life. Like sometimes you see that, right? Birch is another one, is like a medium speed signal in real life. All right, that's cool. Kind of throw you a little bit of a curveball, right? Like you keep expecting all these limited signals, and then you got a 30 coming up. All right, we're out of our speed restriction. 70-mile-an-hour running force, but it don't matter now because we got to get ready for this medium switch up here. All right, CSX Q173's got approached medium, Georgetown, 9049 south out. There's our train. Nice. Yeah, we got medium in. Okay. That looks like short block. Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit on the short side, honestly. Which is fine. I mean, that's true to life. And nothing wrong. We'll see what it is up here. Alright, approach medium. 1.3. Yes, it is a short block. Alright, let's grab some air. That's all right. We got her under control. A little bit more. Yeah, I probably actually didn't need that last little bit. I just want to get it more towards 8. So we won't have to worry about stuck brakes. Go ahead and let go of it. She should be all right. We've touched air a few times. It doesn't seem like she's got anything sticky back there. All right. 30-mile-an-hour turnout. As soon as we clear the turnout, we can do 70. And then we got to come back on the other end, so we may not be able to get to 70. We may not be able to get anywhere near that. Let's see. How long is that double main? No, it doesn't say. 503.1 to the 510. So about 7 miles. So yeah, we'll get a little speed on that. JSX Q173's got a clear signal, or a medium clear signal Burrows. Single main number 1, 9049 south out. All right, we'll meet the 692. I think that's an Irwin. That's a Clinchfield train, right? Like that goes to Irwin or somewhere up there. Let's count that down. Sitting there cooling his heels. So this is where the west route comes in. That's the old S line. They merged together, across the Ogeechee, and split back apart. I think way back in the day, they each had their own bridge. And I want to say that's like one of the first things they did after the merger to the Seaboard Coastline was consolidate this down to one bridge. I want to say there's a level crossing down here somewhere back in, like way back in the day. We're getting a little bit fast. Let's slow up. All right, let's hop on this. Oops, let me do that. Here we go. So we watch it by. So far, it's been a good trip. A lot of fun. I think a good beginner route. It's got good, easy running. It's nothing, nothing too challenging. That's like the entire A-line. It's not bad at all, really. You don't have like a lot of speed restrictions and stuff like that to keep up with. Good gentle hills. No, looks like a bottom coming up here. We'll watch it by, see what it looks like. Almost out our speed restriction, so we open it up. All right, 692 train looks good. Marker's hanging. All right, 70-mile-an-hour running. Once again. Man, I tell you, that Florence to Jacksonville run, that's like, man, I don't know what that is mile-wise, but that's like, you're in for a full day. That's got to be well over 200 miles. That's like 300 maybe. I want to say it's like 400 Sanford to oh shoot, I didn't draw a blank on that place now. The crew change up there, whatever it is. I just said it and now it's completely lost. Left me. It's completely lost. Florence. I'm curious to see what the turnout is on the other end up here. All right, CSX Q173 has got a clear Ogeechee, number 1 main, 9049 south out. So right down here is where the old SAL split back off again. Like I said, I want to say they had a bridge over here. I want to say they had a bridge to the left, and it kind of ran parallel, and then back there it's Burroughs. They had a level crossing where they went across. And then after the merger, they just consolidated everything. All right, there's track to Riceboro, old S line. See what our next. We need to give ourselves light. Yep, on ourselves. Let's go back to it. Macintosh. We'll jump down to there in a minute, down to Ludovici. Looks like an approach limited on this end. Nice. Okay. That's cool. It's a medium on this, on the north end. I kind of like that. So you're not always seeing approach limiteds all the time. Limiteds, you know. Yeah, approach limited. Wait a minute, what was that? I thought that place back there is south of Ogeechee. Okay. It says distant to, okay, distant to south of Ogeechee. I read that wrong. All right, so we're good. CSX Q173's got a approach limited distant to south of Ogeechee, number 1 main, 9049 south out. By Richmond Hill here. The Savannah crews are the Geechees. So that's the nickname they had back in the day. I don't know if they still call them that nowadays or not. That's maybe something long gone. People done forgotten. Savannah guys were the Geechees. Fitzgerald guys were the Goober Rooters. And Lineville side guys, or Manchester guys, were Hindenburgs. They had the Geechees, the Goober Rooters, and the Hindenburgs. All right, there's our limited clear. All right, get some air for that. Man, she slows down good. You just get a little bit of air and she really like... All right, CSX Q173's got limited clear. South Ogeechee, number 1 single main, 9049 south out. All right, and next double main stretch is going to start at CP Lodge. Main line is going to be number 2. Siding is going to be number 1, and it's going to be another 60-40. So remember that 60-40. You could get a limited in, but you can't do it. If you get limited in, you got to be doing 40. Yeah, Lodge to McIntosh is 60-40, but Ludowici to Black Swamp is 79-60. But number 1 main is going to be 60 for intermodal too. It won't be 70. So it's like it's good to check out the timetables. You can't do intermodal speed on that siding, on that stretch of double main. All right, next location is going to be Fort Stewart. Actually, no. It's going to be Lodge and McIntosh. Then it'll be Fort Stewart. Fort Stewart's between Waltherville's between Ludowici and McIntosh. That's where the A768 makes their turn up there. It's Waltherville. If they have to go up there, they don't always have to go up there. I imagine, but probably turn most of the time at Doctortown, but every once in a while they might go up to Waltherville. That's like trains we had that went to a certain turn point, but a lot of times we turn short of that point because there's no reason to go out there. I got the Ogeechee DD.
CSX equipment defect detector milepost 512.0.
I see a light up here, but it's on the other side of the tracks. That's kind of different. Interesting. The left-hand side. Oh, I bet it's okay. It's an R2 sharing one mast. It's not an OG signal. CSX Q173 has got clear Daniel. 9049 south out. Yeah. Yep. It's an R2, so that was done during the Seaboard days, not the ACL days. It's the signal replacement. And what they like to do is just share a signal. Instead of having a signal on each side of the tracks, they just did one mast and then double hung the heads. All right. So far, so good. She's not a speed demon, but you know what? She got us from point A to point B.
CSX, equipment, defect, detector, milepost, 512.0, no defects.
No defects.
332, end of transmission.
We still got a little ways to go, too, like to get to Jacksonville. It's still a decent amount of trip left. I couldn't imagine running Florence to Jax. That's got to be close to a 12-hour trip, like on a good day. I wonder what the auto train has scheduled timetable wise for that Sanford to Florence. All right, so we shouldn't have any more meets. Got CP Lodge coming up. A little bullshit real fast. 173. At least Florence at 0050. And it's to Jacksonville at 0915 in the morning. Really? So they got that's like an 8-hour trip, really? Yeah, oh, we missed that crossing. That's like an 8-hour trip for them. That's kind of surprising. CSX Q173's got clear Fleming, 9049 south out. That's got to be on a good day. That's got to be on a good day. What's it, Florence? Or is it? Or do they run from? No, it's Florence, right? That's the crew change. Florence. It has to be Florence, yeah. Because they get a 25-minute stop. They're scheduled for 25 minutes in Florence back in the day. So they get there at 5 after midnight and leave at 12:30 a.m. And they get to Jack's TOFC at 0800. Man. That's a good trip for covering that distance. Like that's a good trip. That's a really good trip. It's hard for me to believe that's an average trip though. Like it's got to be that's got to be on a really good day. A really, really good day to make that in 8 hours. I think. I could be wrong. I am a lot, so they roll up into Savannah at 0430. Yeah, I don't think that this train doesn't do anything in Savannah. It doesn't even have any time allotted for them in Savannah. It is Savannah at 0430. They get to Jessup at 0540. They get to Folkestone at 650 in the morning. Callahan at 0720. Jack's TOFC at 0800. So, I mean, really, they leave out at 1230. So that's like, what, a 7.5 hour trip? That's pretty decent. The reciprocal northbound has them leave Jacksonville at 1500. This is back in 2001. They got to Florence at 15 after midnight. So yeah, they man. I still think that's on a good day. All right, CSX Q173's got a clear lodge. Single main number 2, 9049 south out. Yeah, they do it a lot faster than what I thought they would. 175 had them leaving out of Florence at midnight. Wow, that right behind the 170 or right ahead of the 173. 15 minutes after midnight. And they get to Jacksonville at 8:35. Yeah. It's basically an 8-hour trip. I was thinking it'd be closer to 12. I still think that's on a good day. I really do. I think that's a good day. So it don't ever work out that way on the railroad. Like, good trips are few and far between. You get them. You definitely get them. Another signal bridge down here. Like I said, this main over here, number 1 main, is going to be 60/40. Just remember that, 60/40. I was trying to get an idea of how long this was. 510 or 518.0 to the 522.9 to 523, so about 5 miles. This Q173 has got a clear distance to McIntosh, number 2 main. 9049 south out. Then from here it'll be 10 miles to Ludowici. There you go. No one with the staggered ACL signals on it. There's a guy that's got a webpage on the internet. I don't know if it's still up. I think it's something like Hawkins Rail or something like that. He documented all the ACL signals on the A-line in Virginia. Every single one of them, like a large majority of them. He like did photo documentation of them before they got ripped up. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it's a really good website. I think this is going to be Martin Marietta over here on the left. Some kind of aggregate place. Yeah, it looks like they unload rock there or something. I need to go check that out in Google Earth. This is Liberty and Martin Marietta. Oh, it's a cement place. Okay, they do aggregate and cement up here. Carry on. What kind of pigs we had coming down through here back in the day on the Savannah side? We had 173, 174, 175, 176. Those were the Penn Mary trains. We had I thought they had some kind of Charleston train. CSX Q173's got clear McIntosh. Number 2 to single main. 9049 south out. 103 and 104. Charleston to Jacksonville. Yeah, 103 and 104 Charleston, Jacksonville. And then there was the 120... 125 and 126 came through Savannah too. Those were Memphis. Man, how's a roundabout train? Memphis to Jacksonville via Savannah. So they went Memphis to Nashville, to Chattanooga, to Atlanta, to Augusta, to Savannah, to Jacksonville. Now, when I hired out, they got rid of those. They abolished those trains, and they made it the 179 and 180, and those trains went directly Memphis, Birmingham via the BNSF trackage rights, and then Birmingham to Jacksonville that way. And I want to say they were running something Jacksonville to Savannah back then. I don't think it's on this list. I don't think that wasn't 2001. That was later in like 03. All right, Waltherville's coming up next. Fort Stewart lead. It'd be cool if we had some military vehicles put in there. Maybe one of these days. I'm talking about stuff other than tanks. Like, tanks are so cliche. Like, we hardly ever move tanks. We'd move tanks, but it wasn't nearly as much as the other stuff. Like, for every tank you move, there's like 20 pieces of other equipment, you know? Like, fuel trucks and supply trucks and wreckers and construction vehicles and, like, you name it. This, I'm being 100% serious. Like, 20 other vehicles for every tank we move. Like, it's crazy. CSX Q173 has got to clear Hinesville. 9049 south out. Yeah, it's cool how they re-signaled this. The single mast R2s. Yeah, I don't know, what was that? Yeah, the Jacksonville to Savannah train wasn't on here back then. Not no one. And it's so straight. Like, that really kills me. It is so straight through here. There's like very few curves. Yeah, we get to Ludovici up here, and it's going to be into the line. It's going to be kind of a longer video, guys, but I want to show y'all something that was like completely end to end. At least on the A-line side. East route, A-line. Sometime we'll do the west route. We need to do something off the Columbia sub too. I really like the Columbia sub. I wish they'd do more of that. At least go up to Fairfax. Lots and lots of coal came down that way. All those Florida power plants. I need to do a video about that. About Florida power plants. If you guys are interested in like how the coal moved back in the day, the different ways it could go. Different power plants. It's like a lot of those power plants are gone now. Power Park's gone. Cedar Bay's gone as far as coal. McIntosh is gone. Was it Indian Town or Indian River? I can't even remember that one down there towards Miami. That one's gone. They were there, and then they were ripped up overnight, like practically. Like it went that fast. It's kind of crazy. Power Park in Jacksonville. That one took a lot of. That was a lot of coal. I think Indian Town or Indian River, whatever that place was called in McIntosh. I think they were a few times a week. All right, this is Waltherville or Allenhurst. They got labeled Allenhurst here. Timetable is Waltherville, probably the same. Oh, the Fort Stewart lead. I want to say there's another lead up in Savannah proper too, for Hunter Army Airfield, which is part of Fort Stewart. CSX Q173's got to clear Allenhurst. 9049 south out. We got a 60 coming up, really? What? Why do we got a 60? Hang on a second. It should be 70 the whole way. Oh, we never let that dude go. Hey, he's gonna be pissed. Yeah, we need to let him. He needs to go. Let's figure out what's Waycross. Why do we have a 60? I need to look. Like, where is that 60 at up here? Yeah, I don't know. We should be a 70-mile-an-hour train. I don't know what this 60 could be up here for. I don't see anything about a 60. Like, no, it's 1.8 miles. There's no 60-mile-an-hour speed restriction up here on the at least via the timetable. We're gonna keep rolling 70. I don't know what that 60 is about right here. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't see anything. We're not lined in at Ludowici. It's 70 down the main at Ludowici. Yeah, I don't see a 60 anywhere. We're practically right on top of it. Oops. Oops. .2 miles. Yeah, there's no bridges. There's no nothing. Yeah, I don't think that 60 should be there.
CSX equipment defect detector milepost 529.9.
There's a curve up here. It could be something that was added in later, like maybe on a later timetable, but it's definitely not in the 05, that's for sure. It's not. Looks like it's the 60 in this little curve right here. Yeah, we're going to disregard it. We're going to do 70, and there's no diamond board on it either, so I don't know if that's like, if that's a bug or just misrepresentation or something that changed later on or what, but yeah, I don't see any diamond boards through here. All right, CSX Q173 has got clear distance Ludowici 9049 south out. That's right here. It's actually right in here. I need something to do with the track. Like, I think it's a bug. Yeah, totally disregard that, guys. Disregard. It should be 70 mile an hour running here. Yeah, it should absolutely be 70. There's nothing in the timetable that says otherwise. I mean, it don't really matter. I mean, really, we're only doing, it's like we're not even doing 60. And this is with, like, we've got pretty decent HPT on this train, 2.3. It should be less. Like I said, this is a really light train for 7,000 feet. It definitely should be a little heavier. I would do it no less than 5,000 tons. Yeah, no less than 5,000. So it's going to be Ludovici right up here, guys. Main line is going to be number 2. Siding is going to be number 1. Siding is going to be 79, 60 for both. 60 for both intermodal and freight. 79 for passenger. Main line number 2 is going to be 79, 70, and 60. I'm glad I figured that out. We don't stop. We don't do a block swap in Savannah, so that's good. Cool about that. There's no time. At least in 01, there was no time allotted on this train to do that. It's just in and out. This Q173's got to clear Ludovici. Number 2 main. 9049 south out. And now we're on the Waycross DLC, guy. I think we swapped on back there a little ways, but this is part of the Waycross DLC for us. We got to get back to Savannah because I want to take this 692. We got to take him up to Columbia sub. This is Columbia sub right there, so we can do that. Oops, wrong way. 692's cross them over there. Oh, I guess we could have crossed them right here, really. There's all kind of goofiness up. There we go. As soon as that time's out, we'll cross them over. Oh, we got it. Come on. Give it to me. There we go. Is it right here? Yes. And then right. That's a really short one. That's a really short block. There we go. Now he's up to Columbia sub, heading towards, see, I think he went through Augusta. So we go up to Fairfax, hang a left, go to Augusta, then Spartanburg, and then eventually Irwin, Tennessee. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Love all of you, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace. No, big cat, no. Oh, no. No, kitty. Oh.